Welcome another new park to Zoo Tours, the very underrated Toledo Zoo and Aquarium. Before we begin with our first walkthrough, let me first give you a proper introduction. The Toledo Zoo opened in the year 1900 as the Toledo Zoological Gardens. You'd run into 18 different attractions with 4,800 animals of 700 species within just 51 acres. The zoo is a member of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums and participates in over 30 species survival plans. Throughout its history, the park has gathered up some pretty notable achievements. They were the first place in the world to create an underwater viewing area for hippos back in 1986. Many of the zoo's original buildings were built by the Works Progress Administration and are still in use today. And in 2014, it was voted and named USA Today's #1 zoo in America. This is the beginning. Welcome to the Toledo Zoo and Aquarium. We'll start off in the Blade Plaza, or what I like to call the zoo's second of their 3 entrances. One of the zoo's most notable exhibits kicks off your journey through this wildlife world, so here's a quick breakdown. Despite displaying some of the zoo's most significant animals, which comes out to be only 4 species, this particular attraction is only 2.3 acres large and is completed with 3 exhibits. Construction for this Arctic complex started back in May of 1998 and had its grand opening in January of 2000. Its total cost came out to be approximately $11.5 million. It's designed to engage visitors with interactive and educational experiences about the Arctic and its frequently misunderstood inhabitants. It does this by providing unique animal viewing opportunities for the public and innovative features for its animal collection. Welcome to the cold. This is the Toledo Zoo's Arctic Encounter. The entrance to this complex welcomes you with an unforgettable fountain that pretty much gives you a preview of what you're about to see. And yes, you can even donate to conservation by flipping a coin within the pool. We'll go a bit out of order of what guests usually see first. I'll sort of show you things that go from least to greatest. This high fenced 15,000 square foot yard is located across from the main attractions and is in view as soon as you enter the area. In fact, it equals the entire length of the Arctic Encounter. At the far right side of this large exhibit is a log cabin. It's complete with a couple of decorative stuffed animals settled atop of a fireplace, along with a window view of the enclosure, allowing you to get an up-close encounter with the gray wolf. You can find an extended pack of males Loki, Tundra, and Lobo, 3 brothers from the same litter that came to Toledo in 2015 to live with their older females, all of which are white variants of the gray wolf. Alright, now going back into the order of things. To the right of the Arctic Encounter, you are surrounded by a large amount of pines and spruces to act as a small depiction of the tundra and the Arctic coast. Which makes sense because your first stop is a 7,500 square foot exhibit that focuses on the underwater viewing aspects where you would find a few mostly aquatic animals. And what are they? Well, let's go inside first and I'll show you. This building is the highlight of it all. It is the center between the 2 main attractions. An indoor plaza that educates guests mainly on the effects of the disappearing Arctic world and how these animals are able to survive the brutal cold. It is also where you can escape Toledo's harsh winter air and comfortably watch marine mammals swim and dance within a few inches from where you are. This, of course, is the exhibit that we saw outside, and now I can tell you that it is home to the zoo's harbor seals and the more lesser-known gray seal. Now here's the best part about the Arctic Encounter, and arguably the most unique aspect of the entire zoo. The seal habitat has sort of a pocket or cave-like structure off to the left. It is completely filled with water and doesn't have any breathing room on top. So as the seals swim within this pocket, something does dwell above them. The world's largest land predator, the polar bear. Making this one of the best predator and prey themes out there. Since you can get nose to nose with them, you might as well say hello to Marty and Crystal, a male and female that share one space. Within their smaller exhibit, the floor actually has multiple holes, so that the bears are able to smell the seals swim below. Cool, right? But is this their entire home? Of course not. The bears have the choice to venture between this and a much larger 8,000 square foot rocky outcropped enclosure. That, like the seal area, is complete with a large unobstructed underwater viewing area. And on the very left side is a den for the bears, with cave-like viewing where you can also learn about polar bear cubs. And speaking of cubs, polar bear babies are no strangers to Toledo. The zoo is very successful when it comes to breeding this vulnerable species, especially when it comes to Crystal and Marty. Nearly a few years ago, the world welcomed Hope, a female that was born on December 3rd, 2015. She was the 5th occurrence of polar bear litters at the zoo, making her the 7th individual birth since 2006. There aren't a lot of zoos in the US currently breeding the polar bear, so whenever a place does succeed in producing offspring, it is very significant. Can you still see Hope in Toledo? The answer is no. In 2017, she was actually moved to the Hogle Zoo in Salt Lake City to be a companion to Nora, a hand-raised polar bear from the Columbus Zoo. We'll be moving on, but if you want to see more of her, you can watch the full video on the Toledo Zoo's YouTube channel and keep yourself updated on her story online. Even as you leave the indoor plaza and continue down the path, you're offered even more viewing opportunities of the bears. Around here, you can see them explore the rest of their uniquely designed elevated habitat. And the stream you see up front is actually sometimes stocked with live fish, so the polar bears can practice their natural hunting abilities. And that is the Arctic Encounter. Thank you for joining me today through the cold, both figuratively and somewhat literally. The next time we're back in Toledo, I'll be covering one of my all-time favorite exhibits, where we'll be going through a world of birds with a few odd animals along the way. However, next week we'll be going to another new zoo. So here's a preview of that episode.